ridiculous. It's obvious what's being done out here. It's on a nightly basis. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Yes, man.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Royal Rebounds, the Sacramento Kings YouTube channel for fans, by fans. It's getting ridiculous out here. If you're a Kings fan, make sure you smash up that like button and please consider subscribing to the channel. Calvin and I put out fresh Kings content weekly, and we are live after every single Kings game here on the channel. Give a shout out to everybody here in the chat. Callum, Jeff, Dennis, Dara. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. Unfortunately, you just had to watch a horrible loss to the Golden State Warriors. The Kings were killing it in this game. They were up 12 at halftime. They blew it in the third quarter and there at the end with a little bit of help from the referees. Calvin, fuck, man. How you feeling?
Well, I wish I was feeling a little bit better. I mean, it was an entertaining game to watch. I was really pleased with the way the Kings played, you know, for most of this game, especially the first half. But they didn't start the game well, and they didn't end the game well. And then, yes, of course, that was a foul at the end. Another opportunity for Kings fans to blame the officials here. You know, obviously that play hurt them. You never lose a play or lose a game on one play like that, but it's tough. It's very tough.
Calvin, we lost the game on that play. Just like the Miami Heat game, we lost the game on that play. We should be 5-0 in the last 5 games, Cal. We should be 5-0.
First of all, the game was tied in Miami, so they did not lose the game on that call. They would not have won necessarily either. I mean, look, I get it. Everybody's going to be upset, and rightfully so. But they were up double digits in the second half again. Turnovers, careless mistakes. Those are the things that really compound and lead to blowing a lead eventually on a bad play, a bad call like this.
Yeah, Kings should have been 5-0 in the last 5 games. We should be 1 game over 500 right now. It's getting ridiculous out here, Calvin.
It's ridiculous. It's obvious what's being done out here. It's on a nightly basis. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Yes, man.
Yeah, man, it's really ridiculous. Anyways, welcome into the show, everybody, and happy Monday. Hopefully you don't have a case of the Mondays like I do, and this Kings loss just compounds it. It's official. The Kings lose tonight 113-116 to the Golden State Warriors. We can take a look here at the box score. Sabonis, 19 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists. He's in foul trouble in this game, Calvin. Harrison Barnes, 22 minutes, an offer. Didn't score a single point, didn't make a single bucket in this game. We're definitely going to have to talk about that. Keegan Murray, only 6 points for him in 27 minutes. De'Aaron Fox, somebody showed up for the Kings. 28 points for him tonight. 2 rebounds, 6 assists in 37 minutes. 11 points for Kevin Huerter, including a missed foul call at the end there where he should have had 3 free throws. 12 points off the bench for Davion Mitchell. And my guy, I think my new favorite player on the Sacramento Kings, Malik Monk, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists in 31 minutes off the bench. And then, of course, the Golden State Warriors, you got 25 and 10 for Andrew Wiggins, and an incredible 47 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists for the flopper, Steph Curry. Calvin, make me feel better, man. Tell me about this game.
Well, look, I mean, the Kings, they're playing better overall. I mean, they just cannot play a complete game, right, where you start and finish, put your foot down and step on a team, you know, suffocate them at the end. The Warriors are a tough team to do that to, especially when Steph Curry goes crazy. But I saw some really good things defensively from Sacramento tonight. I think that they match up much better against a team like the Warriors, as crazy as that sounds, because the Warriors have been playing a small lineup for a long time, which allows the Kings to really play their best players, their best lineups together, because they run a lot of smaller lineups as well. And you saw that repeatedly in this game. Terrence Davis was great as an on-ball defender. Davion was really good as well. Keegan Murray still struggled, so he definitely needs to figure his shot out, and he needs to get some easy buckets early on, I think, to gain his confidence back a little bit. But, man, Malik Monk has been incredible off the bench. And they made a bunch of free throws in this game too. So there's still positive things to take away from this game. The Kings are the fact that we're having these conversations about them, either they should be winning on the final play or have an opportunity to win on the final play because of calls like that, means that they're improving overall. They're not getting blown away, especially like earlier on this road trip when we saw them down double digits multiple times at halftime. They worked their way back into the game and even won a couple of those games. So there are still good things happening. This is just going to be a long work in progress. It always is, and for any team trying to climb out of the bottom of the cellar to get to the top.
Yeah, it's a long climb, Calvin. My arms are getting tired. Shout out to Callum, Jeff, Dennis, Dara, J. Drew, Alex, Tito, Central Valley King, Joe. Thank you guys all for joining us. Man, I apologize to everybody in advance. I'm probably going to drop multiple cuss words. I'm probably going to say fuck a bunch and some other words because I'm pissed, dude. I am so upset. You watched the game with me, Calvin. That's just in normal Kings fashion, right? They think you have a chance, then they rip your heart out at the end. Except this time it wasn't the Kings, so I can't even be mad at them. This was the referees. And, the most frustrating part for me is obviously the referee knew that he missed the call at the end of the game. They're trying to plead the case with him, and the dude just walks away with his head down. The other two referees come over like they're going to talk about it, and nothing, dude, nothing. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how these situations can be handled better. I mean, the easy thing to say is, plays like that at the end of the game should be reviewable, kind of like every touchdown is automatically reviewable or reviewed in football. But it really does, the amount of stoppage in play and challenges and all that stuff, it really does take away from a game like basketball, which should be an up and down entertaining game. I don't want anybody to take those comments the wrong way. I do think that the Kings have a gripe here. But when you look at this on a broader scale and about how every single close game in the NBA, there were all 30 teams played tonight. Imagine if every single game came down to, you had to go back and review the last play. That's not a scenario that I think the NBA wants. Ultimately. So you're kind of caught in this middle ground here where you don't really know how to do it or what the best method is.
Yeah, Ramon says it's getting ridiculous out here. And Calvin, I got to call BS, man. I disagree. I think that you can at least review the last call. Yes, I get it. Basketball is an up and down game. You don't want to mess up the flow, all that stuff. But there's no flow at the last play of the game. And this is two games that we lost at the very, very last second. It would have taken 20 seconds to review that call. They could have looked up at the Jumbotron and clearly saw that both of those calls were wrong. The 2-minute report is a slap in the face, and it's going to come out tomorrow and say, the Kings should have won this game, or they should have gone to the line for 3 free throws, and then we'll see what happens from there. And, I get what you're saying. This game, the Heat game, these weren't like the Kings weren't going to win this game, that this was either for a tie or, the other game was, at a tie. It would take the 3 off the board, and both of these games would probably end up in overtime. But still, man, you got to give them a chance. It's got to be so frustrating to be a player. I'm frustrated just watching this game. You know how frustrated Kevin Huerter's got to be, out of anybody. Sure. Clearly, he felt the contact. We all saw the shot. It looked weird. There's no other reason why he would have shot the ball so awkwardly. And, Calvin, the most disappointing thing with both of these is the referee is right there. The referee is in position in both of these calls, staring at the player. And it happens twice now, Calvin, twice.
You are right. Can we talk about the possession before that, though, where the Kings waited and waited and waited to commit 2 fouls that let the clock drain all the way down to 1.4 seconds, which forced Kevin Huerter to have to take that wild shot. Those are the mistakes in games that I'm talking about that build up and affect the team overall in the win-loss record, in the win-loss column, way more than an official's calls. It's about how you finish the game out as well. They should not have been in either of those situations against Miami or against Golden State, or at least they should have had 5-6 seconds, probably maybe even more than that, to run more action and get a better look than what Kevin Huerter got at the end there. I think we're kind of, as a fan, you're gonna be upset, right, that you didn't get the call. But you should also be more concerned with how the team closes out games or how they finish.
Yeah, you're right. That was a mental mistake. And that's kind of something I can live with in basketball, is like, my team makes a mistake, they make lots of mistakes throughout the game, and you play through those mistakes. It's just a referee mistake.
Officials make mistakes too.
Yeah, they're not supposed to, man.
And you have to play through those also.
They're not supposed to.
Well, they're not supposed to. We're living in a fantasy world if no human official is ever supposed to not make a mistake. That's just not ever going to happen.
Calvin, they do make mistakes. They're humans, right? But they have tools that are supposed to be in place to allow them to minimize their mistakes and make the correct calls. The guy's in the position. He's right there. And then there's two other officials there as well. Any one of them could have signaled and say, okay, let's review this. Let's take a look at it. I wasn't sure. Maybe I didn't get the right look. But this seems like multiple official failures all on one play.
Well, I don't know about multiple official failures all in one play. You're saying because the other refs didn't come to him and say we need to review that?
Yeah, and the
I'm not even sure they have the ability to do that.
And the referee that was in the position at the end, he could have been like, well, maybe I didn't see it, or let's take a second look at it. Maybe ask the other two. Like, there was no way he was looking at that and he was like, nope, I saw no contact, and I am 100% certain that there was no contact on that play.
Well, so then you think they're colluding is what you're sounding.
Oh, that's collusion, like. 100%.
Okay.
But that's, I mean, we're used to this. We've been seeing collusion for 20 plus years now. So I shouldn't be as upset as I am. I should be used to it by now. But I tell you what, Calvin,
every team deals with this too. It's not just the Kings.
I disagree.
Oh, come on, man. The Kings have lost more than other teams in the past 20 years. That's why it's an excuse. It's an excuse. At some point, when your team can't get over the hump, you use the officials as a crutch in certain situations like this. I'm not saying that Kevin Huerter didn't get fouled. I'm not saying that there are not individual reasons why the officials or why fans would be allowed to be upset. But your team doesn't lose for 16 straight years because of the officials. That's not possible. I'm sorry.
So, Calvin, if Wednesday's game against the Cleveland Cavaliers comes down to the wire and the referees fuck it up again, are you changing your opinion?
We'll have to see how that game ends too.
How many times do they have to do it for it to be collusion, Calvin, in your mind? Because I'm already there.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a question I can't answer. Look at.
We should be five in a row, dude. 5-game winning streak. We got 45 likes in the last show. That was enough to get a victory. And, dude, honestly, we did all we could do. The Kings did all they could do, and the refs just fucked us again, Calvin. And I'm sorry for all the F-bombs. I'm going to try and tone it down here, but I'm frustrated, dude. I'm frustrated. Let's talk about Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, every right to be.
Let's talk about some more BS. Let's talk about HB. 22 minutes tonight, absolutely 0 points, 0 help for this team. Missed every shot, didn't get an assist in this game. And we saw him sitting in the tunnel. It looked like he was pouting or something. What's going on with HB, man? And how do we fix this situation?
Man, I don't know. I'm not sure how you fix the situation. He just really isn't playing well. And, in the past, I think Harrison Barnes has been able to pull himself out of those slumps. But, it could be that there are too many new players on this team, and he's just having a hard time figuring out where he fits in. His shot's not falling. He's not getting the same types of numbers in terms of attempts that he used to. And he's not, as reliable of a defender. Maybe losing a little bit of athleticism or a step or two is certainly affecting him as well. But I don't know how you fix this situation if you're the Kings, because you and I were talking about it today. We were like, it's pretty clear that the Kings need to move on from him. But how do you do that? I mean, give me another team out there that is going to be willing to accept Harrison Barnes in a trade right now. I don't know of a team that will do that, because what motivation does the other team have to take on Harrison Barnes, aside from the fact that he's got an expiring contract? But a contending team probably doesn't want to do that anyway. So you're looking at just basically offloading him for nothing, which the Kings can't afford to do. They need to get something back in return. It's a difficult problem.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I know HB's been struggling, and I was not expecting a ton out of him this year. But when you look at it and you put up 0 points in 22 minutes, that's frustrating, especially after this loss. I guess compounds that a little bit. The only thing I'm happy about, Calvin, is we don't have to listen to the Island Boys tonight. So I think that's a win for us. But honestly, I have no idea what's going on with Harrison Barnes. I've never seen this version of him before. And I agree with you. Like we were talking about earlier, is if you're a contender, do you give up anything for this guy at this point? No. And, if you're the Kings, you're probably going to hold on to Harrison Barnes at this point, because you're not going to get anything better that's going to help you this year. And you don't really want to pick up any additional salary. I'd rather just hold on to the expiring contract. I just really hope that HB can pull himself out of this slump, because it's frustrating. And honestly, I think there's probably something going on with him health-wise, because, for him to put up 4 shots in this game, not make a single one, not be aggressive, and still play 22 minutes, which is not a lot for him normally, but 22 minutes is a lot in an NBA basketball game. You should be able to get something going in 22 minutes. I just hope that they can lean on his leadership abilities, what he provides as far as like a locker room presence and stuff like that, until he can pull out of this slump, because if we got 2 points out of this game, the Kings would have been in a much better position. We got 4 points out of him. We win this game, if the refs didn't change the game plan there on us at the end. But, it's HB's not looking good, man. I'm almost more concerned about him than about this loss.
Yeah, I mean, you have to wonder how much longer this continues, to where Mike Brown will start doing more things about his minutes, in terms of not starting him anymore, or completely leaving him on the bench, as an emergency guy that they use only in certain situations, like when somebody gets into foul trouble. I don't know. I think that Mike Brown likes having a guy like Harrison Barnes as a veteran on a fairly young team, and especially a guy that's been with this team for a long time, being able to rely on somebody like that. But he has not. He's not giving much back in terms of that relationship right now. So it'll be very interesting to see how it goes, for how we move forward with it.
Shout out to Brian. What's poppin', man? Faquan. Is it Faquan? Fuquan? Neil. Sorry, I'm so bad with names, man. Dirt and Russ, Ninja Style, Alfie, man. Welcome in, everybody. Hopefully you're having a better night than I am. But yeah, HB's got to do something. He really needs to do something. And it's funny, we were just talking about last episode, who are the 3 most likely to be traded players on the Sacramento Kings, and both of us listed HB on that list. Is he not on that list anymore for you, Calvin? Because we were kind of looking at it more in terms of like who the Kings would want to trade, not so much in terms of like what other teams wanted. But is he still on that list for you now, or is he off that list?
He's definitely on the list if you're perspective. I would think that he's got to be one of the maybe even the first person that the Kings are looking to trade. But when you ask, when you phrase the question most likely, for the reasons that we just talked about around the league, the motivation for other teams to want to take Harrison Barnes back in return, that makes it less likely. So I don't really, I don't know. I mean, I think if there's going to be a trade that involves Sacramento, it has to involve either Harrison Barnes or both. I just don't see there being too many other scenarios, that the Kings would be willing to even entertain. But is it likely to happen? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, shout out to Paco, Felipe, my guy Callum. Thank you so much, Callum. We appreciate the super chat. That's definitely going into the beer fund here. I'm going to need quite a few beers tonight after this unfortunate loss. Brian says HB is still on the Warriors payroll. Yeah, man, this is frustrating, dude. I think honestly the most
Maybe
frustrating
he's on
thing
the
about
refs'
this
payroll.
is what?
Maybe he's on the refs' payroll.
No, maybe the refs are on the Warriors' payroll. That's why their salary cap is so high, or their salary,
The luxury tax.
The luxury tax is going to the Warriors' referees' pension fund or something. But honestly, dude, I'm just pissed because I got so many friends that are Warriors fans. I was talking so much smack yesterday. The Kings were above the Lakers and the Warriors in the standings, and now the Warriors leapfrog the Kings. And I knew it, dude. As soon as that buzzer rang, oh, I'm getting text messages. And what's the text message? Incredible game. What a good game. What a game. Man, that's effed up, dude. We should have won this game. I'm pissed. DJ Freshie, IG could have used some real centers, not Metu. Even Len would have gotten some points at the basket. That's a good point. We saw Sabonis miss a couple shots late in this game. He forced some that obviously you and I thought he should have kicked out to other players. And he was also dealing with some foul trouble in this game. Ends the game with 4 personal fouls. But there was a big chunk of time he was not available. You and I were talking about it, and I said this is a horrible situation for the Kings, right? Because they don't really have another Sabonis that can kind of go in there and fill in. The team is already playing small ball. And you pointed out the Warriors were playing small ball as well tonight, which I think really helped the Sacramento Kings. But I thought Metu did a decent job filling in at times, but I was really looking to see for more minutes from Trey Lyles. I was surprised we didn't get to see more Trey tonight, only 4 minutes for him. What are your thoughts on, Sabonis, maybe putting in a guy like Len or a bigger guy instead of Metu when Sabonis is out with foul trouble or just resting?
I don't think that Alex Len would have helped as much as people are suggesting he might have. For the simple reason that when the Warriors go small and spread your defense out, Alex Len, more than 5 feet away from the basket, might as well not be on the floor defensively. Personally, that's just how I view him. Can he score a couple times inside? Yeah, he probably can. But I actually thought that for the past couple of games, Metu he's not exploding onto the scene by any means or deserving of playing 36 minutes a game. But I really think that Coach Mike Brown is trying to find somebody that he can use like Draymond Green on this team. That's kind of the idea he had with KZ Okpala early in the year, which is why you saw him get the first start of the season. And I had this conversation with you where I think he went to Metu and said, look, man, you have a lot of talent. I think we can use you on this team, but you need to rein it in a little bit. Like, let's just try not taking a bunch of threes during a game. I want you to get the ball in the middle of the paint like Sabonis does. Look for the cutters. Look for the guys open in the corner for 3 when they collapse defensively. He's very athletic, moves his feet well, and he allows you to play the small ball lineup still, which is why I think they used him tonight against the Warriors. So I definitely don't think that Metu has played himself out of the doghouse that he was in earlier. But I see some improvements, and I definitely don't think that Alex Len would have been better in this situation.
How are you? You didn't mention Trey Lyles. What about Lyles?
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for that one. I mean, Trey's played really, really well so far, or at least especially very well over the past 4-game road trip, right? So this was probably just a matchup thing, period. Like, he can't really guard Andrew Wiggins. He's not quick enough, not fast enough, not good enough lateral movement and foot speed to stay with Wiggins the whole 94 feet. And you're already using either Sabonis or Metu or somebody else when they have Looney in there. So, we've seen Trey Lyles play the 5 a little bit this year. I think it was just a situational thing, and you know, Mike Brown decided he was going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, I think Lyles got a lot of run in the last game. Maybe it was because it was his birthday. I don't know. But I definitely would have liked to see him play a little bit more tonight. That's for sure. Let's talk about the rookie, Keegan Murray, because Keegan's looked pretty passive out there. I know he's kind of got that attitude normally, right? He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, is not like super outspoken or anything like that. He usually lets his game do the talking. But I've noticed a big difference in him in the last couple games where he just doesn't really look like to get his shot, or he's looked more to like set up other teammates instead of, you know, be his aggressive self. I don't really know what it is, but in the last 3 games, you know, against that loss to Miami where the refs screwed us at the end, he had 7 points. He had 3 points on Saturday against Orlando, and then tonight where the refs screwed us another time, he only had 6 points against the Golden State Warriors. He is a rookie. He's only played, you know, a few games in the NBA, I guess you could say in the large scheme of things. Are we expecting too much of him? Have you seen a difference in him? And what would you like to see going forward?
I don't think he really needs to change too much, honestly. I mean, this guy, you know, exploded onto the NBA scene very quickly, starting in Summer League. You know, and then the preseason playing really well again, and then the first couple games of the year having really good games, shooting the ball very efficiently. You know, you don't stay a well-kept secret in the NBA for very long. Teams notice, coaches notice very quickly, especially when you're the 4th pick in the draft. So, you know, obviously I think it's a combination of, look, he's just not getting some shots to fall that a lot of times normally go in, especially open shots. And other teams are taking him a little more seriously now in terms of what the Kings try to do. Also, the way that they use him, too. You know, he's not he doesn't have a role within this offense where they run isolation for him and he tries to create his own shot. His shots come within the context of the offense, open 3-point shots. Not to say that he can't create his own shot, but that's not really how they use him right now. So if you get a couple of open looks from 3 within the offense and you don't knock them down, you know, whether it's a mental thing or the coaching staff saying, hey, we need to look for a spark elsewhere, like somebody, for example, in Malik Monk, who comes off the bench and lights it up, you know, that will affect Keegan Murray's opportunities over the course of a game. It's just going to be how it goes for all of their complementary players right now, because those guys are primarily outside shooters and not, you know, guys that you give the ball to and say, hey, go get us a bucket.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, you know, maybe we're a little ambitious here with our expectations of Keegan Murray, right? He's a rookie. He's been playing well. We see guys like Paulo go out for 33 points, and we're just like, put Keegan Murray out there. Give him the ball. Give him 26 shot attempts. He'll do the same thing. I think Mike Brown is taking a slower approach here. You know, he's kind of handling him with kid gloves, and he's trying not to destroy his confidence. So if he misses a bunch of shots, I think he's just like, don't worry, you know, it's okay. We'll get some other guys some shots. Like I think it's all about confidence at this point for Keegan Murray. I think he's trying to be very, very gentle with him. So I'd be interested to see how long it takes for him to pull the training wheels off, and we see Keegan Murray getting, you know, 10 to 15 shots a game, and he's lighting it up again. I'll definitely keep an eye out for that. Shout out to DJ, Freshie, Anthony. Shout out to you. Anthony says, fire that fake Kings announcer, Mark Jackson. I think you're talking about Mark Jones. And I like Mark Jones a lot, but he's definitely said some things over the past couple games. He's been gushing over other players and other teams, which I don't really like. Maybe it's just I'm frustrated because we keep losing to the referees, but I'll just let that be. Let's talk a little bit about Kevin Huerter tonight. You know, he was in a position to hit the game tying 3. It didn't happen, but let's move past that. 11 points for him tonight. Only 9 shot attempts, which might sound like a lot. You know, it's third in for the starters, but we had 2 guys coming off the bench with more shot attempts than him. he shot incredibly well in this game, especially, from three-point range, making 50% of his threes. This is a guy that I would like to get a little bit more involved in the offense. When the Kings win, this dude's scoring 20-plus points a game usually. Do you think the Warriors maybe took him out of the game defensively, or you think the Kings just kind of rolled with guys like Monk and Mitchell and Sabonis instead?
I mean, it's probably a little bit of both, I would say. I think the Warriors did a good job at running him off screens, so that he wasn't getting some of the cleaner three-point looks that he's gotten over the past few games. But also, like I said, this team has a ton of shooters. So when some guys get hot, it is going to limit the number of attempts that the other players get, right? Like when Kevin Huerter blows up and has 28, 30 points, you don't see as many shot attempts from Malik Monk. You don't see as many shot attempts from Keegan Murray. That's just kind of how, the shots get distributed throughout the course of a game. They're still definitely looking for him. And I think that the two-man chemistry between him and Sabonis has been so good this year. They're definitely not going to go away from that anytime soon. Not at all.
Shout out to my guy Dame here in the chat. He says, how was Curry not tossed? Yeah, I agree. Curry's getting into it with the referees. He would not shut up. He's flopping. He's sticking his legs out. I mean, Calvin, we saw that three that he made. The referees instantly call a foul on him. It goes to commercial. They review it. They realize that he's a flopper instead. They could have at least given us something for Kevin Huerter. No review, no nothing. It's getting ridiculous, man.
It's ridiculous. It's obvious what's being done out here. It's on a nightly basis. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here, because it's getting ridiculous.
On a nightly basis, man, it's getting ridiculous out here. I'm pissed. Thank you for everyone that's just joining in. Unfortunately, the Kings do lose tonight, 113-116 to the Golden State Warriors and the referees. But make sure you smash up that like button if you're a Kings fan. We appreciate you all for taking time out of your day to hang out with us. And unfortunately, the Kings lose tonight. But I got a good feeling about Wednesday. Also want to give another shout out here to Brian for some beer money. Thank you, Brian. We appreciate the super chat from you. Definitely going into the beer fund. JN. How is a foul not called on that last shot? If there were Curry or Thompson, it would have 100% been called. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We're seeing fouls called against Curry when he's not even touched. So I couldn't agree with you more. And to everybody that's just joining in, after this stream, go watch the first 20 minutes of this podcast, because I'm not happy. I'm dropping F-bombs, and I'm talking a bunch of smack about Curry and the Warriors. So make sure you definitely check that out later. I see a couple people here in the chat asking about Keita, when Keita will be called up. Also, I see the bouncer appears to have arrived late. Calvin, we might have to write him up. Normally he gets here early. But what are your thoughts on Keita? Is it time to call on Keita to save the Kings?
Well, I don't think it's time to call on him to save the Kings. I like Keita as a player. I think it's foolish to think that playing him major minutes is going to automatically, that alone, turn things around for Sacramento. It definitely could help. And I'm not really sure what the plan is for him long term, right? What the plan is for any of the two-way guys. I think it's worth giving him a shot. I wouldn't be playing him 30 minutes a game just yet, but I think it's worth playing him to see what it's like, see how he responds, and if it makes a serious difference in terms of interior defense and rebounding, which is what you would hope that it would.
Yeah, I mean, I like Keita too, but at some point you got to just trust the coaching staff, right? They don't feel he's ready. So, we'll wait and see. The Kings are 3 games below 500 at this point. I was looking at the schedule, man. It does not get any easier here. So we'll definitely keep an eye on him, but I'm trusting the coaching staff at the moment, to play the best players. Shout out to
Yeah.
Matthew.
I think a lot of
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. I was going to say, I think some of why you're not seeing Keita play more has to be because of offense. And it's not that Keita can't ever score or that he can't ever make an open three, because we've seen him do that. But you have to think about what type of style Mike Brown wants to play right now. It's very obvious that he wants to use the big man in a playmaking role. Guys like Sabonis, even Keita, when he got some minutes today, Trey Lyles, those guys are able to.
You mean Metu?
To help.
Metu.
Metu and Trey Lyles in previous games, not tonight. But those guys are able to make plays for others. And I don't think that Keita is anywhere near ready for that.
Yeah, shout out to Matthew here. He said, had to go throw up in a trash can, go for a walk, and take a shower, protest these games. Matthew, was that you sitting courtside last year, the night Walton got fired, puking on the court? I'd be interested to know if that was you. If it is, that's awesome, dude. Send me a selfie. But, dude, I wish I could puke. I'm not really a puker, but this game had me sick to my stomach watching that end there. It's so frustrating, man. It is so frustrating. Callum's living in the Metu-verse. Interesting. Matthew says that was not him at the game. Okay, good to know. All right. I want to talk a little bit about the bench players here, but before we dive into those guys, let's talk about the people that didn't play tonight. We had a bunch of DNPs. 5 guys did not play tonight. We had Maneki, we had KZ, Alex Len, Rashawn Holmes, interestingly enough, was on this list. And Matthew Dellavedova. A bunch of these guys have gotten minutes in previous games. KZ started some games for the Kings in the preseason. Any take on why a bunch of these guys didn't play? Honestly, the one that stands out most to me is Rashawn Holmes, because Sabonis was in foul trouble in this game. Any reason why you think these 5 guys were all DNPs tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably, again, a little bit of riding the hot hand, right? Like Terrence Davis comes in, gives you some really, really solid minutes. Malik Monk is obviously on fire right from the beginning. And also the matchup. When you play the Warriors, they force you to either match them in terms of playing the smaller lineups, or take a chance and play some big guys, try to beat them inside. And we saw the Kings did not even attempt to do that tonight. They had 4 field goal attempts inside the restricted area at halftime. This was definitely a game, I think, of, Mike Brown was saying, okay, I've got some guys in here that are playing really well, and I'm going to ride them. And also having to match, Steve Kerr's small lineups. We saw Jordan Poole even start, I think, coming out of halftime. So I think it's a combination of those two things.
Man, I love it here. These guys are killing me in the chat. We got Matthews hashing out minutes. Matthew Johnson is bench Matthew. And then we got Matthew 53 as the starter. Shout out to both of you guys. You guys are hilarious. And, hey, if you guys know the puker, send them over. I'd love to have the puker on the show one day. So reach out to your friends. Let's figure out who this puker is. And let's get him on the show. That'd be a good interview, Calvin. Hopefully he could hold it in during the whole interview. I definitely don't want him here in the studio. Maybe we can do it on Zoom or something. But I would definitely enjoy having him here. All right. Oh, Gothen. I didn't even see Gothen in here. Shout out to Gothen, my guy. Hopefully you're not working too late. Let's talk about my other guy, and that's Malik Monk. I've been raving about this guy. 24 points, 7 of 16 from the field, 3 of 8 from three-point range, 6 rebounds, 4 assists in this game. We saw him taking Klay Thompson, old man Klay, to the basket at the end of this game. And it's funny, I asked you at the end of the game, I said, who's getting this 3-point shot? And who did you say?
I said I would give it to Malik Monk.
Malik Monk.
1 second is tough, especially off of an inbounds play. And I'm sure that the Warriors probably thought it was going to go to him, or at least there was a high probability, right? So they're going to try to take that away. And with 1 second, you have to get somebody the ball in the right area of the floor in order to get off a shot in time. So unfortunate. Again, if they had handled the possession before that better, they would have had more time to work with. But you certainly can't be mad at Kevin Huerter taking that shot, right? Like the guy shot lights out all year.
Yeah. Shout out to Matthew Johnson here. Yeah, Malik is my guy, dude. I think he's my new favorite player. I'm going to try and get a Malik Monk jersey. We mentioned that new jersey on the last podcast. It looks pretty cool, man. It's all silver. It says Sacramento, so Calvin's going to like it. I might get a Malik Monk jersey. And like I said, I still think this guy should be a starter. I want to start Fox, Monk, Huerter, Murray, Sabonis. See what happens there. Maybe if Murray's struggling, we could put KZ or somebody in there. But I like the shooting. And honestly, I just like the chemistry between Monk and Fox and some of these other guys. I've seen them play exceptionally well together. Do you think Monk has become kind of like the go-to guy towards the end of these games? I know Fox hit the game winner in the last one, but we've really seen Malik Monk play a lot of minutes towards the end of these games. And as I mentioned, he's been taking it to the basket. Mike Brown seems to have a lot of confidence in Malik Monk here.
Why wouldn't he? I mean, the dude has been really, really good for the past couple of years. And that's why they wanted to bring him to Sacramento, was for this exact reason.
Yep.
And Sass, I apologize. I did not mean to offend you or anyone else. I didn't suggest that anyone was mad at Kevin Huerter taking that shot. I was just saying, if you wanted the shot to go to Monk and Huerter gets it, you can't be mad in that situation. So I apologize. Everybody pump the brakes a little bit.
Shout out to Sass. Sass is just angry, just like I am, because it's a bunch of bullshit, man. This just keeps happening over and over and over again. It's very, very frustrating. And I get it, dude. I'm in the same boat. It just... because I was always that guy that was like, well, it's not one call, right? If they miss a call, that's on you. You set yourself up. You put yourself in that position. But when it just happens over and over and over again, man, I'm starting to see patterns, Calvin. I'm starting to see patterns. They better hope I don't apply to work for the NBA and the referee department, because I'm cleaning house if it's me. It's getting ridiculous, man. It really is. All right. You want to give some flowers to Terrence Davis? I heard you shouting him out during the game.
Yeah, I thought Terrence Davis played really, really well tonight. His on-ball defense was great. He stayed locked in, it seemed like, the entire time to me. And, for him, it's always a question of, is the outside shot falling? And it was tonight. So I thought he gave him really, really good minutes off the bench. Again, in a favorable matchup, against a team that plays a lot of smaller perimeter players, that allows him to kind of get more minutes, playing the wing position.
I 100% agree with Charles here. The refs fucked us, but being real, we were real butterfingered with the ball there in the last few minutes and didn't stop Golden State way too many times. Yeah, the refs failed us bad, but we failed us too. Yeah, that's a very level-headed approach there. And I get it. I get it. Hopefully it's something they can learn from and move on. Callum, the new jerseys are not out yet. We saw a preview of them. I can pull it up here in a little bit if you guys want to check it out. But I haven't heard when they will potentially be released. And the bouncer, Calvin's only wearing the chain during the wins. I wanted to see the chain out tonight. I told him, I was like, you got the chain ready? And he had it ready, but unfortunately the referees had a different story here. Malik, the microwave monk. I love that nickname, Brian. I think that flows, dude. That's really good. Calvin, tell me about Davion. I thought he had a decent performance. 21 minutes, 12 points, 5 of 11, 2 from 5 from 3-point range, an assist in this game. I like what I saw out of him. What do you think?
I liked what I saw out of him too. I mean, look, you could go down the entire bench tonight, everybody that got in there, and say good things about them. I mean, they outscored the Warrior bench like by over 30 or something. I do know it was 43-15 at one point late in the game. So I think that the bench as a whole played really, really well tonight. And the on-ball defense from guys like Davion, Terrence Davis, I thought it was really, really good. So,
do you remember what Twitter account we found that jersey preview on?
I saw it on Instagram. I didn't see it on Twitter, but.
All right, I'll have to pull it up here because I definitely saw it. I'll bring it up for you. Don't worry, guys. All right. Tito says the Kings just went toe-to-toe with the champs. This got to be a confidence booster. Yeah, Tito, I think Mike Brown's probably telling the team that as well. You know, don't look at the record for this Warriors team. You know, they're 4-7 now, but this is a good basketball team. They have a ton of talent. They are the reigning champs. And honestly, the Kings controlled the majority of this game before they blew it there at the end. And Curry just had an outrageous performance. You know, 47 points for him, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. I thought the team did great, you know, guarding the rest of these guys. We didn't see a lot of easy buckets at the basket. However, we did see some offensive rebounds, and we saw a ton of open three-point looks. So that's kind of some of the same old Kings there. But I thought the Kings were in pretty good control of this game up in there until the end. And you know, the third quarter strikes again on the Sacramento Kings, which makes it hard for them to close out in the fourth. But yeah, there's got to be some positives to build off of in this game.
Definitely. And even the third quarter that you mentioned, which has been a big problem for the Kings in recent memory. If you look back, not including tonight, the previous 4 games, they were playing phenomenally in the third quarter, outscoring opponents by 30 points total in all of those 4 games, I think. So they definitely, I think Mike Brown has brought that mentality to Sacramento. You know, you used to see that out of the great Warrior teams of, you know, the recent past and the great Bulls teams in the 90s. The third quarter was where they put teams away every single night. So I think Mike Brown is trying to bring that same sort of mentality to Sacramento.
Yeah, good point. Well, looks like we have a press conference here. We can touch in and see what Nelly thought on the game. Oh.
And see the little things we're doing wrong. It's all on defensive end. The offense is always going to come to us, man. We got a lot of weapons on that end. So if we just buy into the little things, man, we'll get it going. We'll turn it around. For sure, like I said before, man, we this close. We just got to watch the film and see the little things we're doing wrong. It's all on defensive end. The offense is always going to come to us, man.
And check in here.
You see every game we lose.
Oh.
I mean, I think every game we're learning a lot from each other. You see every game we lose, there's always a close game no matter who it is. I mean, that's kind of been our identity. We just play hard throughout the 48 minutes. And throughout the season, I think we're going to learn how to finish in close games.
Oh, this is going to be a good one. We'll see what Mike Brown had to say here.
But our guys they're working hard. They're trying to get better. They're trying to do what we're asking them to do. And we're learning while in the process. We're young, but I enjoy being around all these guys. I think they enjoy being around each other. So to be out as long as we have and to come in here and fight the way that we fought against a championship team, you know, you feel good about it, but you're hurt because you didn't get the win. And it's about wins in this league. And our guys they're working hard.
He seems a little frustrated.
They're trying to get better. They're trying to do it.
Yeah, I think he would be. You know, they've had some pretty tough losses over the past few days. So, and a very super relieving win, right, on a half court, almost 3-point shot. So yeah, I'd say he's definitely frustrated.
I mean, you didn't hear him come out and blast the referees like he did straight ahead at the end of that Heat game. So, you know, maybe we didn't really hear about him getting fined for criticizing the officials in the last one, but he definitely seemed he seemed disappointed, but he seemed a little less fired up than he did after that loss to Tyler Hero in the Heat.
Yeah, I mean, long road trip. You finally get a chance to go back home, and you've played a bunch of really, really close, high intense games that came down to, you know, in multiple cases, the final play. So that will take a lot out of you, as if being a coach in the NBA doesn't already take a lot out of you.
Right, shortens your lifespan for sure. I know we see pictures of like Barack Obama and other presidents like before and after their term as president and how much they've aged. I'd be interested to see what it looks like for a coach in the NBA, or more specifically, a coach of the Sacramento Kings. So we touched on Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, Huerter, Mitchell, Davis, Monk, Metu, Lyles. Let's talk about the two-headed monster here in Sacramento. Let's talk about Fox and Sabonis. So we can kind of dive in here into Sabonis first. As I mentioned, 19 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists in this game. You could definitely tell that Coach Brown wants to run more offense through the big man. However, he was in foul trouble in this game. Didn't foul out, but he was in foul trouble. And honestly, he took a lot of disappointing fouls, right? Just stupid things, reaching over somebody. He was in a bad position. I saw, I think, 2 different fouls where he was boxed out and just, tried to go over the back of the other guy and get the ball, which, I mean, you got to praise effort, but he's just in a horrible position, and it just sets himself up to pick up some of these bad fouls. But overall, I thought he had a good game tonight. I think I told you during the game, I think this is what he needs to be, but the Kings need to have 2 better players than him if they're going to win a bunch of basketball games. Give me your thoughts on Domantas Sabonis and what he brought to the floor tonight.
Well, first up, I just want to clear up a little bit of confusion in the chat here. Clearly, we don't have a lot of hip-hop fans in the building. Nelly is a rapper from St. Louis who in the 90s, I think, or early 2000s, became very popular wearing a Band-Aid on his cheek. Not because he had a cut, but it was a fashion statement. So that was a Nelly reference that Barry was throwing up there. Thank you for the visual aid. But getting back to the game, look, I think Sabonis has come on really strong after a slow start offensively. I think they're trying to make it more of a point to get him involved, or at least get him looking for a shot early in the game. I thought, to start the season, the first few games, he was way too passive and trying to really take that playmaker role to heart, not looking for his own shot enough. But I think that he has done a better job of that. Maybe it's a little bit of him, maybe it's a little bit of a scheme at the same time. And they should have, maybe looked to pound the ball inside a little more, try to get some more calls on Draymond. But, man, I mean, Sabonis has been doing, I think, playing really well. He brings the same sort of thing every night. So
Tito says, we old, so we know Nelly. Oh, man, that's hilarious. All right, I found the jersey real quick. We can kind of touch on this, try and forget about this loss here for a few minutes and touch on this jersey. This was leaked. I like it, man. This is what they say, the first time since 2014 that they've used the full city name on the front of the jerseys. No idea why Buddy Hield's name is on here. Don't at me on that. 5 stripes down the side. 2 outside stripes are thicker than 3 inside. So it appears to be kind of a gradient here on the sides. I like the lettering. I like the colors. I like the hint of purple. Calvin, I'm going to get me a Malik Monk jersey with this style. What are your thoughts?
I like the jersey. I mean, I already told you, no more sacks. Get rid of the sacks. Just put Sacramento on the jersey. I don't even give a shit what the colors are. Just put the whole fucking word Sacramento on there, and it's good for me.
Matthew says, why it doesn't say Sacktown? Yeah, I mean, people might confuse us if it doesn't say Sacktown on it, right, Cal?
Yeah, potentially.
Everyone here calls it Sacktown. Yeah. No, I like Sacramento much, much better. So I'm just going to go with that. I think that's good. Okay, back to this disappointing loss for the Kings. 113-116. I don't even know how many points the referees had on this game, but they made the difference. But let's talk about De'Aaron Fox. He was I wouldn't say lone bright spot for the Kings tonight, but he definitely led the way for them tonight. 28 points, 6 assists, 8 of 17 from the field. We saw him make 10 more free throws in this game, Calvin. He shot 12. I love the aggressiveness from him. He was getting to the line, and he was making shots. I think now he's missed officially 6 free throws on the year, which is absolutely incredible for him. What a turnaround. But, what did you like? And was there anything that you disliked out of De'Aaron Fox tonight?
I think the only criticism I have of Fox tonight, I thought he played, again, another fantastic game. You know, the free throws were there. The attempts were there, too. Like, he was getting to the line early and often. I just felt like towards the end of the game, he kind of settled a little bit for a lot of his shots. I would have liked to have seen him attack a little bit more, try to get back to the free throw line where he's been feasting as of late. I get it. You got an open look from three. But to me, even though he has been better this season from three, he still hasn't gotten to the point yet where I'm comfortable with him taking some of those shots, especially in a close late game when I know that he's got the ability to blow by people at will and get to the basket and potentially get to the free throw line where he's hitting 80 to 90% of his shots. So.
Yeah, another thing he's adding to his game. I honestly think that's what it makes the difference between a good player and a really great player in the NBA is being able to add something every single offseason, identifying, looking at yourself, saying, okay, this is a weak part of my game and I need to work on it. This is one thing. This is the reason why I'm not that high on Ben Simmons, right? I like Ben Simmons. I really do like him. But that, I think, is what holds him back from becoming a great player, is he doesn't add something to his game every offseason. I think De'Aaron Fox has added the free throw to his game this offseason. I think he's gotten a little bit better at shooting the three-point or shooting the three ball, and I'm pumping the brakes on that because I like what I've seen from him, but the sample size has not been big enough. I think that De'Aaron Fox is becoming a better shooter, and I think he will continue to become a better shooter. So all good things that I like to see there. Tito says, isn't Nelly in jail? No, I don't think Nelly is in jail. I think Nelly's killing it, man. The dude is living the life, that's for sure. I didn't see Key Kings here in the chat. Shout out to Key. It says he's putting Barnes in a retirement home. That's harsh, man. I do not want to be your parents, Key Kings, if you're putting me in a retirement home at 30-something years old. But I get it. The dude looked old. I think there's something else going on here. I don't know if he's got COVID-like symptoms or something. He was sitting like separate from everybody else, in the tunnel, or if he really just needed to get on the bike there to stay warmed up. If maybe he's got a lower extremity injury or something like that. But things do not seem right in Barnes land for me. Yeah. Charles says, we old, that's it. These young dudes, shake my head. Charles, these young guys, they never had the benefit of seeing a good Sacramento Kings team. So, we got that on them. We got that. And hopefully we'll live long enough to see another good Sacramento Kings team. So that's also important. Any other things that you really stuck out to you in this game tonight? Anything else you want to bring up before we open it up to questions?
Man, I just keep coming back to, yes, the officiating has been rough, obviously, and it may have cost Sacramento a win or two here or there. They haven't always come out and looked as fresh and as ready as you would have liked them to. But I think big picture here, I keep coming back to, again, this is a young team with a lot of new faces and a new head coach. The fact that they have competed pretty much every single game, been in positions to win almost every single game late in the fourth quarter or at the buzzer, basically means that there's progress being made here. I think that this team is on the right track. I know that we've said that a lot as Kings fans in the past, but I do see there being a lot of bright spots on this team. I think as the season goes along, they will get a better rapport with everybody, and outside of Harrison Barnes, maybe this team's they look like they're on the right track. I think that Coach Brown and this group of players will start to figure it out. Does it mean that they're the 5th seed in the playoffs at the end of the year? Probably not. I'm still going to double down on that bet, but I think that there's reason for optimism, definitely.
Yeah, sideline reporter DJ Fresh is reporting that HB had some bad seafood, so maybe that's why he wasn't filling up to it tonight. Interesting.
Oh man, did he order DoorDash to the hotel? Maybe this was a more conspiracy from the Warriors.
Maybe he got one of those broken down bots, dude, and his seafood was sitting in that bot for a couple hours cooking in the sun. The bouncer says we're late on the chat. Bouncer, you can't say we're late. You were late, man. You can't call other people out when you're late. Sorry, buddy. You got to get here earlier if you're going to call us out for being late. And yeah, we're about 40 likes right now.
It's hard to keep up sometimes.
We only need 10 more likes to guarantee a Kings victory on Wednesday. I'm going to guarantee it. You know, we had 45 on Saturday. I guaranteed a Kings win tonight, and the Kings would have won tonight, Calvin, if it wasn't for those zebras out there. So that really was unfortunate. All right, Brian Goodner says, James Ham today said there's something going on in Keegan's life that is affecting Keegan, but didn't want to give details. Health problem in family, maybe? Girlfriend, maybe? Only James Ham seems to know for now. Interesting. I'm going to have to shoot James Ham a text. Maybe not tonight. He probably wouldn't appreciate that due to the time change. But I will definitely check in with James Ham tomorrow. Maybe we can talk to him a little bit. But, of course, we don't want to encourage people to leak like personal details about people before they're out in the open. So I'll see what I can get, but I don't want to get on Keegan's bad side early on. That's for sure. Yep, we are behind in the chat. Alex says maybe it's just me, but I like last year's statement jerseys way better than the all gray ones this year. Calvin, you disagree? You like the Sacktown?
I mean, it's better than Sack. I will say that. I'm okay with Sacktown. Just Sack is no good for me. Get rid of those. Burn them.
Alfie Man says we need a bully on this team like Draymond. A bully or a dog? Because I think they're different. But what do you think?
Well, I think that you could use that term, we need somebody like Draymond in a lot of different ways, right? I did say earlier that I think Mike Brown, having coached Draymond for a long time, he would like to find somebody that he can use in that same style. So I think he is searching for somebody like that, hoping that he has them on the roster already. But maybe they need to go out and grab somebody else. I don't know.
Dude, shout out to Charles here. I've been down with the Crown since '89. Charles, you're a G. Hit me up next time. We're in Sacramento. I'd love to buy you a beer because you're an OG, man. That's for sure. All right, let's talk about the Cleveland game. Then we can jump here into the rest of these questions and these comments. But real quick, Calvin, I just got to ask you, if you could take one word to describe the game tonight, what would it be?
Entertaining.
It's ridiculous. It's obvious what's being done out here. It's on a nightly basis. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Yes, man.
Man, I thought you smelled what I was cooking, man. I was trying to set you up.
I fumbled your assist big time there. Sorry about that. I was not even prepared for that one at all.
I was trying to set you up nice on the platter, dude. I was cooking the food, and you didn't smell what The Rock was cooking. I'll say that.
I did not smell it. I did. Hopefully, I don't have COVID.
Oh man, that's hilarious. I was in Wailea the other day, and walking through the shops of Wailea, and of course, there's that ice cream place in there that makes like their own cones and everything. Oh, it was smelling so good. I literally beelined it for the ice cream place, took my friend in there. We're standing there. Another person shows up and they're like, wow, it smells so good in here. And I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, probably no one with COVID comes in here because they don't smell it. Like everybody that's walking by smells the ice cream cones and they all come here into the ice cream shop. And yeah, you guys are jealous because it's November and I'm eating ice cream in Hawaii. But yeah. There's nobody with COVID going in that ice cream shop. I'll tell you that. So I felt pretty safe in there. But let's get back on schedule here. Let's take a look here at the schedule. You see these weird looking shapes that are red? These are no good. So unfortunately, we started out the season with 4 of those. Then we went on a nice little 5-game winning streak. Don't worry about these little red marks down here because those could they give us a tie, dude? We've been watching too much football. I feel like we should have got ties on those games. Like maybe we should be 4-3-2 or something. Maybe the league office can review that and let us know. But yeah, unfortunately, we should be on a 5-game winning streak. Didn't quite happen. But let's look forward to Cleveland on Wednesday. The Kings return home. Obviously, ESPN does not like their chance of winning this game. You look here at the injury report. We saw De'Aaron Fox hobbling early in this game tonight. He came back. It didn't seem to affect him, so I don't see him here on the injury report. Give me your thoughts, Calvin, because I'm really high on this Cleveland Cavaliers team, and I like them a lot, but I don't want to talk good things about them here on the channel until maybe we're not playing them. But give me Cal's keys to the game to beat this huge Cleveland team on Wednesday.
Man, yeah, I'm worried about this game. I think Cleveland is definitely one of the worst teams that the Kings could possibly match up with. I think that was the case last year as well, and they're an even better team this year. So I think the number one key is you got to light it up from outside. Good luck scoring inside on this team, especially playing the types of lineups that the Kings have played this year. I would expect to see guys like Alex Len get minutes in this game because they're going to have to find a little bit of extra size out there. But I think you've got to keep your hot shooters hot. So Huerter and Monk, you want Keegan Murray to have a bounce-back game, even De'Aaron Fox. They're probably going to have to make, I would say, between 14 and 16, something in that range, in order to have a chance to win this game. Crashing the boards is going to be another one. The Kings get abused on the glass a lot, and this team is a very good rebounding team in Cleveland. So keep the hot shooting going. Find ways to close out possessions and grab rebounds. I think are definitely going to be at the top of my list.
Yeah, and the last key to the game is we need 50 likes on this video if we're going to have any chance of beating this Cleveland team on Wednesday. Charles says that just means I'm old. I live in Georgia now. I'm never moving back to Cali. Haha, thanks for the offer. Dude, Charles, you don't have to move back to California. I'll buy you a beer. You just got to come visit, and we can go to a Kings game. Like I said, I'm not in California, and I don't plan on moving back anytime soon, but you could meet up for a beer sometime. That would be nice. And then, of course, Neil, 86, dude. We love you, Neil. Neil's a diehard fan. And, Neil, my offer for a free beer goes out to you as well. Fuck it, dude. Anybody here, if you're a Kings fan, I'll buy you a free beer. Come find me sometime. But back to this Cleveland game. I think you're right. The size is going to be really, really tricky here for the Kings. They need a team rebound in this game, and I think they need to shoot the ball incredibly well. Those are two things that you can do to counteract size, right? Is by making a bunch of shots, not giving them opportunities to out-rebound you. But this will be a really, really tough game for the Kings. I'm interested to see how De'Aaron Fox responds to this game because we talked about how aggressive he was tonight, getting to the basket, getting foul calls. He's playing against basically the Twin Towers in this next game. Maybe the game plan will be to attack them early, try and get at least one or two of those guys in foul trouble and help the team out a little bit. But of course, if we got the same referee crew as tonight, probably not going to be good for the Kings. And maybe De'Aaron Fox will be in foul trouble with some offensive fouls, or we'll just get a lot of no calls. Referee will be swallowing their whistle again like they did tonight. Any predictions on this game, Calvin?
Well, I'll be honest. I don't feel good about this game. I'm really worried about how the Kings match up defensively against a team like Cleveland. I mean, Fox is, you take your pick basically. Who would you rather have among Mitchell? Because that means Huerter's going to have to guard the other one. And then I don't know who guards Evan Mobley with the starting five that they've been rolling out lately. Keegan Murray is probably the guy. I mean, it's him or Barnes, right? Like, that doesn't sound like a positive matchup to me either. So I'm interested to see if Mike Brown messes with the starting lineup at all for this game.
What would you do if you were Brown? Were you putting KZ in? I know you're a big KZ fan, and he's kind of been sitting, saving himself.
Yeah, I mean, you really have two problems. Like, to be honest, I might even consider starting Davion just because that way I can have Fox and Davion matched up defensively on Garland and Mitchell. Probably let Davion take Garland and have Fox guard Mitchell. Definitely not an easy matchup for either one of those guys, but I feel more confident than I do with Huerter on them. And then I'd maybe slide Kevin Huerter down to the 3. But again, inside going against Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, that's another big problem. Like, I don't know what you do. It's not like you can just start a brand new starting lineup and expect, everything to go the same. So it'll be really interesting to see how they come out.
Man, I'm already seeing the videos popping up on YouTube. The Kings got bullied by Steph Curry. And then you got Draymond smiling in the background. Man, that pisses me off, dude. What a unfortunate loss here for the Kings tonight. 113-116, the Golden State Warriors. And, of course, the referees. If you guys have any other questions, go ahead and drop them here in the chat before we end the stream here. And also, don't forget to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. And also, Wednesday is our next game. And we're also doing Wednesday night parties on our other channel, Basketball at the Bar. So make sure you subscribe to that channel as well. And we are giving away a $250 Fanatics gift card. So make sure you go to that channel and you will figure out how to enter. It's really easy, and maybe you can get one of these brand new Sacramento Kings jerseys. Alex said, I'll buy you guys dinner next time we're at the same game. Need to hit a steakhouse. Oh man, Calvin, I love me some steak. So I'll definitely take you up on that offer. Maybe we'll hit the gym before also.
Take you up on
that. F Curry, I love it. See, that's the crazy thing, Sass. It wasn't Fox Burner. That guy does make some clickbaity titles. This was KTP, Kings Today Productions, a new Kings channel. But interesting. All right, Calvin, give me something, dude. Tell me something. Make me feel good. Make me feel, better than I do right now. Because another rough game, dude. Another rough loss for us Kings fans.
Well, it was a rough loss, but again, look, they're competing. They're in every game, even if they get down double digits. We've seen them down 15 at halftime. They've found their way to claw back into games. It's a work in progress, but look, they have been pressing the right buttons, right? Drafting well. The trade for Sabonis was a good move. Signing guys or trading for guys like Kevin Huerter, signing Malik Monk. These are good moves. You have to have those kind of slow steps that continue to build and gain momentum for a team to turn a corner and break a 16-year playoff drought. So it's not happening as quickly as everybody would like it to, but I think there's definitely evidence that they're on the right track. So this is going to be a really tough game on Wednesday. There's no sugarcoating that. I think Cleveland is one of the best teams in the NBA, and if the Kings are able to battle with them and keep it close, they got completely blown away when they played Cleveland last year. So if they can keep it close again, be competitive, have a chance to win in the fourth quarter, I think that's, again, all you can ask for right now.
Yeah, good point. Sass, I didn't know that he changed his name over. That's interesting. That makes a lot more sense. It really does. Oh, filet mignon will heal the Kings blues. Yeah, filet mignon's great, dude. I love surf and turf. Give me a piece of filet, piece of crab. I'm feeling great. Tito, the Jazz are wild. Calvin, they won again, dude. They have the best record in the West at 9-3 right now. This is absolutely ridiculous, and they're posting a point differential of 6.1. They're on a 3-game winning streak. Calvin, what the fuck's going on with the Jazz? At what point do you stop saying it's early and they're trying to tank here? Dude, we're 12 games in and they got the best record in the West and the third best record in the NBA.
Well, yeah, if you ask any of the players on the Jazz, I don't think any of them are saying that we're tanking. Colin Sexton's one of the most fierce competitors I've seen, in a recent memory. That guy will never accept losing, and he's finally getting a chance to play again, which must feel good for him, right? Look, Danny Ainge, you talk about pressing the right buttons. They were just looking to get rid of people, and they ended up putting together a team that's actually a pretty good squad. So It is only 12 games, but hey, I think it's the narrative that this team is not going to try to win games, and you should expect, no matter who you are, to get a W every time you're playing Utah this season. Those days are long gone.
Yep. Shout out to Kristen here, long time no see. Yes, thank you for joining in, and it was a horrific loss tonight to the Warriors. I'm almost done talking about it. It's really, really a pain. It's so frustrating, man. It really, really is frustrating. All right, Calvin, I think that's about it, man. You want to give kind of a sum up of the entire podcast here without any expletives?
Ridiculous.
There
Is
you
that
go.
what you were looking for?
You heard it there. Thanks for watching, guys. Please don't forget, smash up that like button, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you all. We will see you all on Wednesday. And in the meantime, go Kings.
It's ridiculous. It's obvious what's being done out here. It's on a nightly basis. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here, because it's getting ridiculous. It's really...